Okay, we're going to call to order the meeting for January 31st, 2023 of the Oroville Parks Commission. We're going to have a roll call.
Commissioner Castro, Commissioner Krantz,
Here.
Commissioner Jones,
Here.
Commissioner Rich.
Here. Okay, please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This would be the time for any public communication on non-agenda items.
Ms. Chairperson, I do not, or Madam Chairperson, I do not have any speaker cards for this item.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the Park Commission meeting of October 25th, 2022?
I make a motion. Can I make a motion we approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Motion carries with 3 yeses and 1 absent.
Okay, on to regular business for the statewide park development and community revitalization program.
Okay, so we have Melton Design with us today, and we are wanting this committee and the public to get involved with in hopes of applying for round 5 funding of the statewide park development and community revitalization program. Sorry, say that 5 times fast. This is the program that we applied for with the funding we received for Hewitt Park, and that was back in 2019. So we are hoping to apply for that again with a whole new project, and that is what we have Melton with us today to go over and hopefully get some input. Bring it forward.
That's me. So this is Greg Melton. Thank you. Gio, Sarah.
Hi.
I thought you guys were going to pack the house. I brought all the trees. They're coming in.
Next one.
All right, next one. On now?
Yes.
Good. So today, as Jordan said, it's a kickoff meeting to get ideas, look at the ideas we already have. This river has been looked at several times with a lot of different ideas. So this is a simpler version of that. We're not trying to move roads and things like that as much as, look at the pedestrian, look at the trail system, look at the parks along it, look at the bridge. Rotary is going after a project to light the bridge on a permanent basis. Permanent basis. We're working with Dale to do that, and SBF gave you some money already on that. So we are looking at that, and Dale has agreed to, if we can add the bridge into a grant, it makes the grant even tastier. And so any of those types of neat elements that can join in, whether it's people with money already or not, makes the project more appetizing for the state. And the more more boxes we can check, the better. So this public session is part of the grant process. They want to have a lot of public input. So I'm sure as we start this and do the next meeting, I know on Hewitt we ended up with a bunch of input, both virtual and, well, most of them virtual then. But I think once the word gets out that we're going after some change here, that there'll be more and more input coming. Wade's going to call all his friends, right? The fishermen and the... Yeah, we want fishermen. Because access is important here, and you can see all the spots. I think Gio was walking it the other day, all the spots where people are just going down and probably falling down. It's not easy, and we can't take the levee down at this point, so we have to somehow get over that levee and get down to the water. So today, we've brought a map of the river from the Green Bridge over to Highway 70, and we highlighted some of the projects that are happening there. And, the restroom is one of them. When's that project?
The Portland Loo restrooms, the proposal is going out for bids, if not next week, the week after.
Great. And that's right by Centennial Park, as you guys know.
One at Centennial Plaza and one at Bedrock Park.
Bedrock. So we're also looking at Bedrock and what we can convert that to make it usable, comfortable, fun. And so that's part of, ideas that we want to generate from everybody. What can Bedrock be for us? How can we work with the lagoon? What's DWR going to do? They're supposedly going to come and dredge the lagoon. So that'll be nice. We still have our weir there. They're not touching that. So we get to control that any way we want. So that, determines how much water height we have. Wade, who's in charge of that weir? Am I looking at him?
Got a little gray area.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So once they dredge the lagoon out a little bit and get the opening, then a few more boards, a little more water, a little more fun. And then if we can work with Bedrock Park to where getting to the water is easy and fun, and then heck, we can populate that park more and, make it a safe place to be, and et cetera, et cetera.
And there will also be a new kiosk built at Bedrock Park where the old restrooms burned down. Those plans are also in progress. Our structural engineer just has a deep backlog right now, but that will be a structure in which we put that out for RFP to have Feather River Parks and Rec or another agency or even the Aquatic Center group lease that space, and then they lease kayaks, bikes, whatever, so we have more positive recreational opportunities at Bedrock Park to deter the negative.
And that would be great if we can get some type of concessionaire up there, and whether they're renting kayaks or anything right off the launch right there, that would be great. I mean, that would be a godsend to have that happening right there. So, so what I want to do tonight is we got plenty of room. We're non-digital, so that's great, right? I want to ask everybody, you guys get up, let's walk, look at the plan. So what we have is one site plan from bridge to bridge, and then we have enlargements of the key areas so you can actually look into it. Like on the back one, you can see the Vets Park and where it's at. I mean, that may be a project we can add to this. We can work with Bill. And hey, we got the Vets Park, we got the trail system needs a few $100,000 or something to be done, I think now, to go under the bridge all the way to the bathhouse. Mm-hmm. So a lot of pieces are coming together, and I think that makes for a good recipe for the whole grant system. There's another grant, the Land and Water Grant too, right? So next time we come here, we'll have all those requirements for those, and we can see how many boxes we're checking already, and then we'll decide, which one's the right grant to go, or both of them, or it would be a good first step. So come on down. Let's walk and talk about the sign. You guys too. Our goal is this is obviously very easy because we got a few people here and just perfect amount.
I have one real big question. Is the road up above going to be closed off to vehicles?
To be determined, yeah.
Just today, just that there's a person who continually goes around the barricade right above Bedrock tennis courts, goes on the dirt and goes down a shortcut out behind the Bedrock tennis courts bathroom and back out.
Yeah, that area is going to be barricaded off, and that was put in our public works budget for this year to have pipe gate and bollards installed so pedestrian traffic can still access that portion of the levee to make it from one end to the other, but vehicle traffic will no longer be permitted at that area. They can only go from Rotary Park up the access and eastward and vice versa, but they cannot continue on the unpaved section of the road.
Okay, cool.
From Rotary Park to this whole way here?
Yes, that will be blocked off to vehicle traffic. And there will also be K-rail installed at the foot of the levee across the street, across Safford from Rotary Park, Broadway, excuse me.
Okay. So this access will stay though?
Yes, it will.
So I guess just to look at, you guys are pretty familiar with the space, right? So we've got the bridge on this side, so this is ideas that Dean and I have on what this wants to be like. The key is to light the bridge. 1911?
1909, 10, 11, 13.
They had portable lights on the bridge, and the Great Rotary Club is gonna recreate that for their centennial anniversary. So, we were on the bridge the other day looking at how that's gonna happen, and, you know, it's a great pedestrian place now. It's a great place to hang out. We can create a lot more things, I think, than just lights on that bridge. And so, if we can have events on the bridge, I don't think structurally it was made for dancing or anything, but, you know, that's what a bridge engineer will have to tell us. But I think this is, I mean, to anchor that end of the river with this, and then you're looking back at the Vets Park and building, and then downriver, it's gonna be,
Let me just say about the Vets Park, because over here, there's going to be a bunch of awnings for shade. There's gonna be a bathroom there that they're putting in. So you should actually talk to Bill and get the full plans, because Butte County is doing that now.
gotcha. I designed it, so,
You designed it?
yeah, 10 years ago or something.
Well, they're redesigning it.
I'm sure.
Taking your design and they're taking a new guy from Butte County.
Sure,
But, you know, the update of what they're doing for this
right.
is good, because,
Yeah, so
That's
we
what
get
I
the
had.
Vets Hall, I mean, the Vets Park going and everything going there, then we're gonna, again, the more we populate, the less people show up that we don't want there, right? So this will be a fun project, and this is April 24,
We like it, yeah, we'd like to break
Is that
ground,
cool?
if you will, on April 2024. That's cool.
and that's the centennial for the Rotary Club, so. And then our goal also, you see the abutments all lit up here. We were looking under the bridge yesterday and saw that, yeah, there's some good spots to light up the abutments. So we're really, that'll be on all night long, so. Make it very visible for everybody to see what's happening, and hopefully no one wants to hang out in a very bright space. But, yeah, so just one piece of the puzzle that we have. What else we got? We come down, we've got the overlook that's been there for a long time and needs a little help. So, you know, we'll throw several $100,000 at that overlook and rebuild it, and probably throw some interpretive panels on it, and, you know, make it accessible and safe, et cetera, so that's a good one. Gio, you said there's some areas coming down off the levee in that area also?
Yeah, I actually went and did a nice little tour and did a bunch of pictures out there, and there's actually a couple of fishermen up and around this general area. And then there's a couple of these little access pathways, and you can actually see the guy, he's really little right there. But I was like, hey, how'd you get down? He was like, oh, we either go right here, or there's one down there, type of deal, so.
Good.
So make sure I got pictures of those, so, you know, they can have better, easier access for it as well. And then there was a couple more down here as well. That would have been a little bit easier to access down in that area, but I'm not too sure, you know, where we're going with and where we want to access the water. And of course, I'm pretty sure we've all seen the fishermen down here by the pier and that general little canal. I see them all the time when I'm driving by on the highway, so. maybe
What
we
do you envision about, they're talking about putting in the concession area in Lagoon? What do you envision for access to that? Because people are gonna come down in cars and stuff.
Well, the cars and the parking is all down here, and so they would have to, we would have to make an easier pathway to help bring them down, and I was just going out this way, so we don't really mess with that weir that's right there.
Yeah, okay. This is where the concession would be,
Yeah, that's what I'm.
where the old bathroom was.
All right.
So they'll be able to walk up the whole path.
You're gonna make the path. to get
Yeah,
there.
we'll make it comfortable to get there, and hopefully ADA, we haven't looked at that yet. but
Because currently you have to like, I believe, walk around and then,
it kind of goes
and then,
down.
and then there's a, it's kind of a, so we would have to work on any.
And the Gateway project, what's the progress of that?
So the property has been purchased by a private developer, and they're in the process of securing tenants for the different sites. And so it's underway. They're looking at their subdivision map so that, because they're going to parcel it out to sell individual pieces off to developers.
Okay,
So it's in progress.
great. On the old plans we've seen of that over the years, you know, everybody's trying to access the riverfront there. It's very steep right there. But the views are great up and down the river, so what
And
else?
they're looking at putting a hotel in this area, a grocery store, entertainment, and some restaurants, office space, and then a market rate apartment complex in there as well. So this will be a good connection from this complex
So
to
a
recreate.
lot of people just, so we have to make this connection here really strong. If this is hotel, right? Then all these people have to walk on this upper trail, and then we have to get them down to this trail or this way, and then we want them using this. So we have to turn this into something that visitors will want to use.
And Federal Parks and Rec deeded this parcel to us.
Oh,
So we
very
now
good.
control access.
All right. And then Riverbend, of course, is below that, so we know concerts and things like that, the hotel people can just walk under the bridge and ride their bikes or whatever and get down there. We also gotta make the edge of the trail safe, in a lot of places it's not. So I would, you know, some people feel very uncomfortable riding their bikes or having their little kids riding their bikes on it, so we'll have to look at developing the trail in certain areas to where it's not necessarily a guardrail, but something that makes it safer to do so, and then overlook, so you can just stop on the trail, you know, and not get ran over, so you'll be able to step out of the trail.
So what do you envision for the width of this?
The width of the trail,
Right.
I don't think we're gonna get much bigger than we are now. I think we can clean up our edges, but, I think it's 8 feet right now, 6 to 8 feet, depending on where you're
Is
at.
it 8 feet wide?
It's closer to 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you got 6, that's good.
So, you know, there's gonna be areas that we're gonna have to reinforce, cut into the bank, you know, reinforce the riverside of the bank. So we'll have that type of, you know, some type of stonework or something for that, and then, you know, vegetation. Got a lot of non-natives in the space, so we wanna look at getting those out of there and keeping them out. So we gotta replace them with some that'll help choke out any future growth. Yeah, a lot of things. We know we've got 2 big apartment complexes going on the bluff over here and that trail going down. So, very secure bridge crossing here is gonna be important. So part of our work is with the Rotary is to have not just the pretty lights, but also when those are off, or have enough security lighting to where people can feel comfortable walking that path and coming down right into town, because there's, I don't know how many apartments are on the Tetro project. That's a lot of
There
them. Hundreds,
is
right?
6 or 7 buildings on the Tetra
Right.
project, so it's 160.
Yeah. 150, 160 apartments, so times that by 2, there's 300 and something people. And then there's the whole other set of apartments right next to them. So there's 500 people now that are gonna be perched up on that hill, looking at everybody having fun down here, and they're gonna run on down and enjoy them. So, I'm glad that wall and the path and everything coming down to was part of that project, because that was the key location. And then, of course, we know we've got the Telus property here that is in limbo. So, but, you know, I think strides from 10 years ago to now, a lot of things have happened, a lot of things are happening. And so, a lot of the ideas that have come forward as far as developing up on this edge here, you know, I think that's just the next thing, you know? Once things like this anchor it, and then it's gonna be, wow, let's put some 4-story lofts so we can look into the river, because you can't look over the levee where you're at now. So You know, you put retail on the bottom, multiple rooms up top, and hopefully we can get our job count up so then we have more bodies that want to live here. You know, economics is a big part of everything, right? The more amenities we have, the more economical, the more economy we develop, then people will want to stay and be in downtown.
So would it be safe to say that your vision is to go all the way from Riverbend Park, one continuous trail, all the way to the nature center? Is that the goal?
I think that's the goal, yeah. We got the trail for the nature center, like I said, funded, so that'll be cleaned up and done. So that's under the bridge. You can say hi to your friends when you go under the bridge. Right, and you know, I don't know, do we want to include the bathhouse area in the grant? It carries a lot of historic value, so
I
we'll let the
think
grant.
interpretive signage and accessible pathways would be nice in that
Right.
area.
Well, we should, because the city, you know, city limit stops right there in the city park, right past the bathhouse, within about 200 feet.
Path the bathhouse.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the state takes over from there, so it'd be kind of nice. Might as well tie in that last little piece, this whole project.
Yeah, you gotta make your plan longer.
Yeah. Another 2 feet of paper, it's all good. We're at 5 feet.
Now, Don, when you're talking about those interpretive signs, is that part of that extension, that trail extension that goes out towards the bathhouse?
Not currently.
Not currently.
Okay.
So this trail extension just goes under the bridge
Okay.
To the parking,
area.
to the parking lot, the little 2 stalls that are right there across the street
Yes.
from the bathhouse,
Yeah,
that's where it ends.
so down under here, and then there's the pit toilet, and then that open area, this trail will go over there.
Okay.
So you'll be able to get to that paved road and then continue walking, you know, upriver on the DWR across state property.
Yeah, and then the Brad Freeman Trail continues on up to the dam.
Yeah, I mean, do we call this the Brad Friedman Parkway? Or
It
what's-
has numerous names,
Right.
so, Feather River Parkway, Brad Freeman Trail.
I think the biggest variable with this whole project, not just the project, but with it being successful, is the homeless problem and the people along the river camping at this moment, right there at that lagoon, trashing it.
Yep.
It's getting worse there's more and more homeless just polluting the river, and people don't want to have anything there, so what, I'm not tying down, but it's like, how are we going to how is that going to be enforced, to force those people out of the woods? Because you can build something, but they won't come unless the homeless people are gone. I think that's like almost your biggest challenge.
Yeah, and that's where the Oroville Police Department has expanded. They're doubling the size of the municipal law enforcement division so that they can add 6 to 8 more positions, and their intent really is to patrol the parkways to keep the homeless population moving. So that
And the drug dealers, because there's nothing but drug dealers at Bedrock. I'm down there at Plain all the time, and there's drug dealers in and out of that park,
and that's, yeah.
multiple. Every time I'm there, there's drug
Yeah, I mean,
dealers.
I've seen cities up and down California, they're creating the rangers, you know, people that are not officially police, right? So it's a lot less of a price tag, and their job is the trail. So you have a ranger on this trail, you know, and he sees that. So those types of things are other options instead of, you know, just having the police force involved.
And maybe you can get the stars involved with that.
Well,
I
that's
think
what the
a lot of it-
municipal law enforcement is.
When we get the vegetation under control,
Right.
the invasive vegetation, and we eliminate some of the hiding spots and some of the unsightly areas, a lot of that will take care of itself at that point. If we can keep the vegetation under control, and we're doing that with the goats, and we might have to introduce some machinery or something down there to maintain that at a more regular basis than once a year. But I see that as the biggest problem, is they have places to shelter
Yeah.
along the river.
And it's gonna be a combination of all these applications, the municipal law enforcement, the vegetation control, increasing recreational opportunities so that people want to be there. Those all together are going to deter greatly, but not fully, that negative activity.
And currently, the entrance, I mean, if you go to Bedrock Park, I mean, it's a great place to hide no matter who you are, for
on one other note, you're talking about dredging, are you with DWR?
No.
No, not dredging.
But
Wait
with
for the city.
that lagoon there though, it needs more water, it gets clogged up to where it comes in, and it needs more water circulation, more oxygen going through there for the flow. To keep
That's
that,
what-
so it's not the
So,
toxic algae and
you
that'll
must
bring the
have-
kids in.
yeah.
That's what the
And it
DWR is
could,
doing.
it could have a lot more potential, a lot more than ever the forebay, because that is just one stagnant with the birds there. We don't have the birds like we do there. So by getting the circulation of the water, sorry, I come from whitewater kayaking before pickleball, I was way. The circulation is so important, and that could help bring in families, making it a safe place for the kids to get float around in their floaties and swim and not end up with some.
Right. So
And
Don,
that's-
you said DWR has been
Yeah,
talking
we
about
partnered with DWR and Grant, and they're going to put in more gravel beds here for spawning. As they're doing this work, they're going to open up this weird pass and then allow more flow. It's going to be a 4 foot at the highest or the deepest depth
Of that
in
opening.
this.
Okay.
Just going to do it.
Great.
And they're also going to be reactivate the drop-in here, kayak drop-in.
Oh, so they'll
Oh,
put
that's
in
good.
there? Great.
It got kind of washed out with the,
So that'll be a concrete put in?
I don't know if they're doing concrete, I think they're gonna do gravel, but it'll be a,
Accessible or?
no.
No. Should make it be accessible.
We tried for a lot. I'm happy with what we got.
We're good, yeah. So what do you think we could do at Bedrock Park? Right now, we just kind of have the trail running up through it, right? And it just kind of, where's that trail? It just kind of does its thing through there. We know everybody hangs out kind of in this area right now under the trees. We got the parking lot, and then it just goes to turf. The amphitheater thing that was there is gone, so. But we just put tables there. We have to somehow attract people to this.
Yeah.
Swing set, merry-go-round, fun kid stuff.
They used to be that, but.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like if you want families to come and playground.
Yeah. Water for the kids to, and kids to, then they can have a picnic.
We've been doing, when we do shelters now, we've been perforating the tops of the shelter roofs. So signs when the sun shines through, you see these things, but when it rains, it gets wet. So it's not like you can hide there. And when the sun comes, it's a 70% ultraviolet block or some number like that. We've done filter fabric and stuff before, but we know the element out there just doesn't carry. Try to wing it, making it for everybody, not just for people. But yeah, those are some of the things we're doing, and then if we, sprinklers are always a wonderful thing to make sure.
Do we have any
That's a great idea.
that might, the dog park we have now is great, but it's out there.
Sure.
It's a ways away, not very useful.
Yeah, no, but I mean, dog parks, everybody loves them, right? So the more the merrier in my mind. If we can bring the dog population in, we throw a couple pickleball courts up on the levee, we'll have all that.
That's okay.
Oh, come
I'm
on.
still pushing Feather River to convert some.
But no, I mean,
Bedrock.
where do we have a little flat spot we could do that? I mean, obviously a little spot on Bedrock could work,
That's kind of what I'm saying.
yeah.
so and if we do dog parks, then we're going to have to make an amendment to our ordinance because currently dogs are not allowed in city parks. And so that's where we've gotten around it with the Hewitt Park is that the access is off of
And so you're not fully in Hewitt Park, but you can be near the park with your family playing or doing
So
whatever.
not in Bedrock, but somewhere along the levee would not, would that with ordinance would,
Well, could you just change the ordinance to be in designated areas only?
Yes, you
Yeah.
could. And I think we were using Hewitt Park as kind of our guinea pig because we don't have dog parks and how easily maintainable they are.
Well, and we also wanted this access off Darrell Border because if we had kids spray zone and kids running around, we don't want people bringing their dogs right
Exactly.
through the park, getting excited with the kids. Darrell Border, so you can you still have the safety that the city wants.
the city still has, we still have this parking lot here, right?
Yes.
And does it go this way, or I'll have to get some of that property line information?
Yeah, we'll get that property line for you. I have the parcel maps. It comes down through here, so I don't know.
So then, that would be connected to your park again. But it would be out of the park, kind of,
Yeah.
but with a great view down to the river.
Can you, is there a place to extend a small amount of parking down closer to the lagoon for accessibility? Because I think if you're handicapped, it's still difficult.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to adjust the pathway to make it not as difficult. It isn't good right now, so we'll have to just work on that. And we don't want to get cars any lower.
Right, that'd be the ideal situation is to have a ramp of some sort to provide access.
So did you say there would be a way to launch a kayak somewhere along here?
So, where is it?
Right there.
I've launched there just to play and paddle upstream and, yeah, so you have to carry it.
Back to Vets Park, did they mention when they're doing those improvements, or?
Office is working on the money, the funding, and we're waiting to see what happens with that. We've gone forward to the county to get a project manager for the whole thing, because this thing has gotten so big that we need an official county project manager to get the whole thing done. We're going to be having, hopefully, Phil Scartino is going to be done, building the 9-foot tall bugler. There's going to be a party this late spring, early summer. And then we have all the awnings, the monuments, the bathroom, and all the other stuff going in. So I'm sure you know these people, you know, and so it's, you know, just to talk to them, because we have great hopes over there for that little nugget, which is right in between this. And, you know, Don, you're talking about the bathrooms. Well, that's another bathroom to go into the whole thing.
Yeah, and the city has earmarked $100,000 to contribute to the Veterans Memorial Bathroom.
So that's another stop for the public on
Absolutely.
the parkway. So I've been dreaming about this for a long time, and it seems like it's happening. Yeah.
I'm excited about the synergy. Way. And just with everybody doing, you know, something along there, it's just going to make it, you know, not only it has a possibility of bringing visitors and tourists from far away to our along the river.
Let's take an area we haven't talked about, so the municipal / conference / building.
Oroville Convention Center?
Yeah. Now, there's supposed to be improvements to that.
Yes, those plans are in progress. We're hoping to have them completed this
Did I hear? No?
Not bigger, no. Interior renovations, the restrooms will finally be done, and then the front facade. And a new landscaping, the fountain will be removed, so lots of improvements there.
So then, as we have the road coming up off of Myers, this will still remain parking, and then we have the levee and that slope up to the levee, and that is all city property?
Yes.
Okay. Because there's, I mean, obviously with all that concrete, it's crazy up there, right, driving, so maybe there's an area there we can control with the dog park and cut out some asphalt and, you know,
That's
get some,
where we hold Salmon Festival
then
and
you still
other
can
events.
have the salmon festival, but year-round, that being a big asphalt area,
Yeah.
to me, we can do better than that for salmon festival events. I mean, there's gotta be, you know, other options than just that for the long term of that area to be more attractive, to walk on that and don't feel like a car is gonna drive up onto the levee and,
Are we looking at developing the area that is gonna have the barricades? Or is it just gonna be barricaded off to, as a footpath? Down at the other end by Bedrock?
From like Rotary.
right, where's Rotary Park? So from that road coming down right there,
I mean, are we looking at developing up there at all, or is it just gonna be blank
yeah,
barricaded
that whole
area?
trail there, right?
That's what we're looking for. Our ideas.
Well, right, so I was like, I mean, cause that could be a good area to put like grass and,
So that's part of the trail system, right? So,
Grass is
I mean, it gets really
expensive.
wide up there though, so we don't
Right.
need that much
Right.
width for maintenance road.
Water.
Well, I'm throwing this out here, but in the SBF meeting, I sat in on it, 'cause Mike Fury had put in something about for bikes thing. But anyways, make a long story short, food trucks are getting, like you mentioned, getting a concessionaire. People love food, and if there's any way that you could have like an area with where you can contract concessions, some kind of food, you know, next to where they can enjoy the river, enjoy a coffee and a pastry or food, because people love food. You know, but that would be subcontracted, whether or not that could fill in, because that brings, people like food, it brings people out.
Yeah, I mean, we can create a food truck zone, right, maybe by Centennial.
Or I think of like, you know, going to the beach, I grew up the beach and there was the snack bar and, you know, Redondo Beach, and you went to the beach and there was the snack bar, it was like the highlight getting some, as a kid, you know? And, you know, whether or not that can, it'll help bring people in, give them a reason, oh, let's go out and have a cup of coffee down by the river, you know?
There's an area here in the upper parking lot that could be designated for food trucks as well. Where
Right.
they can kayak or bike or, you know, play in the lagoon and
Kind
then
of create a
go
little
get lunch.
plaza right there or something for them
The
to
only
park. and-
consideration would be for the new businesses at the gateway, but people are there for different reasons, so.
Yeah, I think if you're going to a food truck, you're picking up something typically quick. If there's a typical retail restaurant in here, you're not gonna go get a Chipotle and walk back to the river, you're gonna grab a dog or a quick sandwich or burrito or something. But I think we have some areas there, you know, we have some areas along the top here, well, that's all a bank. But there's all these open areas that we should entertain as, you know, okay, festival area here, let's revegetate some of this here, create sitting areas, and, you know, leave enough room for a bunch of 10x10s on one side of the path, so if you wanted to have a, you know, something along the path, you can continue to have those festivals. But, I mean, if this whole parkway we want to activate, we know the developer needs to come in and start, you know, looking at this property here, which could be wonderful property, and so that's down the road, so, but I think if we can make that waterfront, a real waterfront, and then, you know, then the developers will start licking their chops, because people are gonna wanna live there
Yeah.
instead of not, so.
You know, in Bedrock, along the levee where the amphitheater used to be, that might
Down on the bottom, you're
Yeah,
saying?
exactly, with the levee as a backdrop. And that way, if you wanted to pull trucks in there, food trucks in there, you could do that on a temporary basis. If you want to shut it down for an event and have booths or tents or things like that, you
Yeah.
can do that as well. Seems like that path, right, you know, that space right along the levee seems a little lost.
Yes,
So,
underutilized.
on the
Yes.
top or the bottom?
They come play. least a conduit is probably bigger.
Likely, I don't have one in the books, but yeah.
I think we should get our wishes, on how we're gonna access the lagoon. Are we gonna do some nice, big, long concrete steps, terracing down, then the ramp down, and
Sandy Beach.
sandy beach like Riverbend, right? And, make it fun.
I used to have seating down by the water.
They know they come downtown and there's an Oroville and.
The
We were
barricades.
talking about that during the art commission meeting, having an interactive sort of mural where people would want to come
Social
and
media zone.
then post it on social media and, you know. Really fun ideas for that.
And if we can do it with the bridge in the background, right? So
Yeah.
the bridge is all lit up, you have this, well, you look anywhere from the municipal center up on that levee down to Centennial Park, there's a lot of areas there that, as we were looking, you see of course, the Veterans Park. You move down from there, then you'll be able to get a view right into the bridge.
Yeah. Rotary level about doing things like that as well, hopefully making that pathway more experiential. We have committed to doing the architectural lights above, but we looked at some renderings where there is some LED lighting that goes across each cross member that goes across the pedestrian path. Now, that's kind of outside of our scope, but we like the way it looks, and that is that walkway, that passage from Third Lane to downtown is our main pedestrian walkway. So safety, of course, is concerned. Right now, all the wires have been stripped out, so there's no lights there at all. So rather than just plug those back in, I'd love to see some collaboration on getting experiential lights across that. It can serve as safety, it can serve as an experience, and if we can get some security cameras along that to make it a safe passage, both for pedestrians and to reduce vandalism, I think that would really make our citizenry safe and also protect our investment in our assets. So I'd love to continue that conversation with the city on that part.
Also, Don, do you know the distance from Riverbend to the nature center? Because, 6K is a nice fun run, and that looks like it would more than have that. You put the kilometer and the mile markers along there. You can have a nice little small running events there. People come from all over for those things. It'll be a perfect place for something like that.
And the Oroville Hospital used to have the salmon run, there'd be the, you would have, so there's a lot of opportunity.
So, 8, it was 10 of these, which is 9 inches, which is 90 inches, right?
Yeah.
So say 100 inches times 80, so 8,000 feet. Is that right? Miles 5280, so it's a mile and a half one way, so it's 5K there and back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could do a 5-6K run.
Yeah.
You
On the
know,
levee one way and down on the river the other way, and get close anyway to.
I think they're fair that 80s
All right.
yeah.
Salmon color run.
Yeah, those type of events, right? Those are the things that we want to be able to design for. So if we have an event, where is staging, where is starting, where is ending? How does security watch it, blah, 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 We talked about cameras on the bridge, where do we put cameras on this? Does Centennial have cameras?
It had.
Had cameras. Because we'll probably look at, if this proposal, all new lighting poles going down there. And so we'll have elevated, elements where we can
Had cameras.
have things like that. I mean, to me, we're activating so many things from the town to the river to fishermen to the vet people, health, wellness. Then we're connecting to the vets. We got the Rotary. We got, the commercial, developers. So we have a private sector connecting to Riverbend on the other end. So, Riverbend's an event mecca. You can start anything there and end anything there, so. Right, maybe get 2 grants. So besides that one overlook, do you guys, I mean, I think it's a great idea. Is there, you know, we have the overlook here. Are we looking at wanting another one up from Rotary Park somewhere? Or do we look at an overlook, you know, to kind of keep it going, you know?
Yeah.
Probably more down this way, don't you think?
We're gonna have a hotel here. So I mean, if we come off the top of this parking lot, overlooking the weir and watching the fishermen,
Yeah.
Off the backside of the, kiosk.
yeah, there you go.
Now, is there, I've heard talk about making it easier access for fishermen to get down into the water. Is there anything as far as accessibility along the river's edge? I'm thinking particularly down. For a couple of reasons. I think the Vets Hall is a great viewing platform for the lights on the bridge. Over weekends. To kind of showcase that. So we expect that to be an attraction. The more places we have for people to sit and have a stay here. I would imagine as we improve the accessibility, that would be a great place to maybe clear some land and flatten it out along the river's edge where you can have picnic benches or
Where, because I kind of climbed outside of the went to pick the vet. There is a very steep pathway up there. So I would say if we, anything, we can push it back, because there's another entrance to go down the path a little bit ways down,
Okay.
where the nature path comes in together. So maybe we work down towards that way.
We worked a plan, you remember when Pat Cole did the architectural renovation, and then we did a connection to here,
Yeah.
and then made this more amphitheater, because that's got some room there.
Yeah.
That's also an area where I saw a lot of homeless trash. I didn't know them down there, but
About right there.
Wait, it looks like
There's been some.
okay.
It's just, the city works crew did a great deal in there, with vegetation management, the goats, and then we've took in, the mini eggs with the, you know, like. Things through there, eliminate those, the Atlantis, all the invasives. And, Greg said, we vegetate them, make them more desirable, native, without.
Right. Let's look.
The eucalyptus del sacred.
I was told they're memorial trees.
We'll have to do some more digging on that.
But that's where I got it first.
We thinned some of them.
Thinning is
Rather
one thing,
invasive.
right?
Yes.
This is good, you guys are good.
If we, you know, we can always rededicate.
I like that.
outlooks, as we were kind of talking about. Going up onto the outlook, you get a very nice view looking, you know, back and forth, kind of in the river and across. So, and there's fishermen, of course, out there and whatnot. What if we did kind of an outlook that kind of was like a fishing pier? Up top for, you know, if they can't make it down.
So come off like it comes off now, but then come off again.
Yeah,
down
kind of
here.
come off down further where you're just dropping some pillars down.
That'd be tough.
Tough?
Just like, you know,
I know,
And then
I know
that would
where
also
the
give
fish
another
run.
vantage point looking
Yeah.
down
In that river.
at lights,
he's looking at
That way.
and
yeah.
then any other
Yeah,
lights.
it's like we kayak it all the time, but it's spawning.
We're not going in the river. There's limits that we can do, but getting above the river is more accessible. We just have to not not encroach into floodplain situations. So there's a line there.
Most of the year, the river's closed to fishing anyways to salmon, like catchers.
Even if you're not fishing off. Anything, you know? River around.
Yeah, I just know that, sorry. I like watching, sometimes just stopping off, like where this park is right here, and there's the bench here. A lot of the salmon, this is real shallow here, this is where you visually see, though they already have it right here. Right here is where the salmon, you just see it constantly, you see a lot of birds there, is right around here is where you visually can see the salmon. The other areas, you can't, but they like to spawn here and up and around in these gravel bars. And it's very visible from sitting on the bench, like right there and stuff. Because otherwise it gets deep, you can kind of see them come up here in these shallow areas. But this is really probably the most biggest area to see the salmon. And also, though it's shallow, but you can really see them. They're almost hitting your boat when you're going down through there. But that, what I just pointed is where you really can see it from the trail, where I see the most. So shallow, they bump your boat when you're going in.
Put in somewhere for tubers? We put in downriver, but I know that they go up towards the,
They started the hatchery underneath the bridge.
Yeah, you go across the bridge to
right,
that
okay.
side, they drive down, and
there
there's
we go.
that loop road is where they
And
start.
that's where the majority of the fishermen are fishing right now. Too.
It's right here.
They park underneath the bridge
Mark
and
that
they
as tube entry.
hike down.
It'd be nice to have it on the Feather River Nature Center side.
It would be, that would,
I know it's very rocky over there, but. Dream big.
Yeah.
Yep.
on the other side, so move the access, it's across the paper, it's off the paper.
There's very limited parking.
Yeah,
Parking is.
but they'll just park up, they'll just keep parking up the road and,
Yeah, there's plenty of.
yeah, right, everybody do that. If we can get a tube loop going and then have the whitewater, or the water aquatic people
Yes.
renting tubes and picking them up and stuff, that would, you have a tube
I'd
every
love to see
Saturday,
more safety on the river.
once a month, everybody will do it.
Bring kids on the whole float.
You can get out.
You come down all the way to River Bend, or you can fill
Get
here.
out and have a snack and then they take pictures from.
I've never seen a kid sink down to the bottom. It happens just like
A lot
that.
of people that miss it, they can just walk right back up, so.
Yeah.
River Bend's a good catch-all for this use, and maybe on the.
Oh, there you go.
$100 a duck, right?
Yeah.
Great ideas. Yeah. Have some other public meetings scheduled? What's the timeline for the grant submission?
So funding isn't even open yet.
Great.
What
June, and the other one's a little later,
a little bit later, so June.
October.
Right.
We need like 5
Yeah.
community meetings.
Yeah, 5
to be-
community meetings.
Make sure you're taking pictures of all this, George.
I did already, actually, all the back of your head, sorry.
You got the big crazy salmon in the background there.
Yes.
Is that new? Is that new?
What was that?
That salmon new? I have never noticed it.
Because you're always looking that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yes, we don't have any scheduled for them yet, but we will start sending more.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give that to Bill. We meet on every third Monday, 6:45. If you want to come there, we can talk.
I can talk, but it's one
month at 6:45 at Veterans Hall.
That's a few there. Great. Anything else, you guys? So it's not going to stop. Your minds are not going to go crazy thinking of other things. So
Right. Who do we email?
I got one other thing to say.
Emailing and you
It's
all.
just about water safety, sorry,
Yeah.
it's me, the safety Swiftwater rescue person in me. It would be really great to see a loaner program where you have PFDs, where people are launching or going in the water, where they can take the PFD and then when they get to Riverbend,
turn it in. Right?
turn it in, and like what they have down in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I know that there hasn't been any deaths or any drownings, but it absolutely horrifies me seeing these adults putting their kids in the water, and there isn't any law here like there's laws in other rivers that they're supposed to wear a PFD when they're on an inner tube.
Yeah. And
So
the more
it's
active
just
we
that's
get, the more
me and my
non-swimmers try it, right? So, oh yeah, I'll go with all the buddies. Oh, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Be a swimmer too and drown.
Right. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Definitely.
Very good.
This is just one of many
Step
community
one.
meetings.
So we'll come back with a plan that
Great
has all
start.
these ideas on it.
I'm
And
excited.
8 more pickleball courts.
I'm looking for pickleball over by Arlen Ryan Memorial over here.
There you go. I mean, you got the pavement there, you know? Okay, now the
Pickleball on the
YMCA out there.
Oh my God. Hey, you just hear that?
On the bridge.
Pickleball on the
Pickleball on the
bridge.
bridge.
It's great. So it goes over.
Unlimited balls
Got
at
it
you.
on now. Yeah.
Have your first tournament on the bridge. Why not?
To really show your skill.
Yes.
You have to be really good. Like,
No lobby.
yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank
Good
you.
job, guys. Thank you. What else did you not write down?
All of it.
The cameras on the bridge on the overhead.
Yeah, I think we're going to identify some.
Really anxious to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Even the name.
Yes. Yes.
So we're gonna,
So we're on to reports.
yes, so thank you to Melton for this presentation. We will look forward, and like you said, any, our minds are all going now and wheels are turning. So any more ideas you have, you're more than welcome to shoot them to myself, city staff. That's what we're proposing this with Melton Design. So this was a great first meeting. So thank you so much for all of the wonderful ideas. This was just informational purposes. Like we said, we are planning on applying for this grant. So this is kind of just the first step. So we're going to move on to reports.
So do we have an activity report log today?
We do. So, page 7 in your packet is just going to be your informational log. This is our ongoing log that this commission, we just touch base on some of our, some of the things that are going on. So we're always open to adding more things to this or removing things as we see them. So the first one we usually go over is Adopt a Park program. As you see on here, it was approved way back in 2020. The city just approved the application for the Native Sons of the Golden West to adopt the last Ishim Indian landmark, the monument on Oral Quincy Highway, as well as the Exchange Club is Bedrock. So that's what we have right now for the Adopt a Park program. So that's always ongoing. That's on our website. We every so often also advertise it, on our social media and just to get the word out. The vandalism report is number 2. That is an annual report that we should schedule to have, I believe, at the June 13th meeting. So that's what I have in my notes right now. Number 3 is website updates. That is always ongoing. So if you guys see anything that needs to be updated or have any concerns on the website, please just bring them to city staff attention. Thank you, Melton.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
So always bring those to our attention. That's just a simple email that we can get those fixed for you guys. So anything that concerning or updates are always ongoing. Number 4 is the Hewitt Park Phase 2, which is kind of what we were, talking about before. It is still in progress. The ground break is this year, which is very exciting. And we're hoping for completion in 2024, so next year. So that's ongoing as well, and another project that we're working with Mountain Design Group is also. Any questions or concerns or anything we want added to this backlog report?
Just a question.
Yeah. So our ground break. What was that?
We should have a park.
We will, yes. So the ground break is scheduled for summer this year?
Yeah, they are getting all the final bids. And then once they get that, we'll put the proposal out, obtain a contractor. And once we have a contractor under contract, then we'll schedule their groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It will be a big party.
We'll make it an event. We'll invite the commission. We can do a little fun, shovel in the ground. We'll make it an event because it's definitely a big deal that we're excited about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any administration reports?
I don't have any at this time.
Okay.
Wait.
Any commission reports? So I just wanted to mention a few things about the Art Commission meeting that we had just prior to this meeting. On Saturday, April 29th at the Convention Center, there will be an event and there will be dance, music, visual arts. So mark that on your calendars. We also had some really great ideas submitted for the NOFA Fund, such as sculptures, large and small, murals, and functional art, such as bike racks, benches, and markers. We also had an update on the Caltrans proposal, Rainforest Project, for the Highway 162, Highway 70 interchange, and that was approved for mosaic artwork, and there will be 8 laser cutouts and silhouettes. And at this time, the Welcome to Oroville branding logo is still on hold, and the Birdcage Theater is opening a new play this weekend, and it goes for February 2nd through 4th, and then 9th through 11th, and it's called The Laramie Project, and there's information on their Facebook page about times and tickets.
Thank you.
Any future agenda items? No? Okay. So at 6:19, we're going to adjourn this meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.